Picture, I don't need to have the guitar here, but I'm going to do your song for you. But let's talk a little bit about your time in Provincetown and what it was like here. Were you actually born in this area?
I was conceived right out there beyond where you were playing
On a
place
boat?
called, no, not a boat, a little spit of sand
Really?
called Long Point.
I
No.
heard that. So talk about Provincetown a little bit, because this is the most fascinating. This is like another planet. Every
It
time
is.
I come here and I just drive along the street. But it wasn't always like this. Was it a sleepy little artist colony at some point when...
You know, when you get a bunch of artists together, it's not sleepy. It's not, maybe writers are sleepy, but artists are not sleepy. So it was a little fishing village, and it's so beautiful here.
Nowadays, you go down this, it's like one side is full of galleries, the other side is full of seafood restaurants, and it's just non-stop. Is that about 3 miles, maybe, of commercial
Just
street?
about 3 miles,
Yeah.
the whole town, and the whole town is pretty much on one street, and it's one way.
And
down towards my house.
yeah, and you see people with their big cars trying to navigate, but people just walk all across the street.
Oh, yeah.
The street is crowded with people. It would have been worth taking the laptop down to Commercial Street and just doing a little walkabout, but we'll save that for another time.
I think there is a, what do they call it, a sky cam
Oh, really?
or something?
Oh.
Over Spiritus Pizza.
Oh,
Yeah.
Spiritus.com, whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, right across the street from my favorite
really?
restaurant, Bubala's.
Ah, yes, we just drove by there.
Yeah.
I like Bubala's.
So, anyway,
But
I got...
none of these places were there
No,
back then.
no, there were a few little restaurants, but, they were more like tea rooms. And anyway, my father came here in the late 1920s, and he did some bootlegging here. Hung out with a lot of artists. And so when he married my mother, they came up here in the spring and conceived me out there on Long Point. But fortunately, they didn't name me Pearl or Clamzo or something. And we used to come here when I was a kid, so I knew Provincetown from when I was 3 years old. And I would say, someday, I'm going to live in Provincetown, I'm going to be an artist, I'm going to have cats, and I'm going to drink whiskey. I paint on beach stones. Let's see if we can get this
Will
up.
we be able to see it? Oh, I see it there, yeah.
That is, whoops.
Cute kitty there.
Meow.
Wow. And I remember...
And I sell them on my website, alicefrock.com. Can't get easier than that.
And I might not have properly introduced you, because... the reason I wanted some of my regular viewers, we had 27 for the last Blaincast.
Wow.
We might do a little better this time. But I wanted them, because a lot of people have asked me about you, because I do a song that I wrote, another song about Alice. And at the time, I always kind of explained this is... Well, there was a little gap there between Alice's restaurant and...
Not much.
40 or 50 years.
Well, actually, there were a few other songs written about me that didn't make the hit parade. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Oh, wow, that's fabulous. But, yes, of course, you are the Alice of Alice's Restaurant, and can we
living legend.
Can we skip ahead in time then a
Please.
little bit to you get out of the Reform School and you're hanging out in the village, and then you go to college, right?
No, I went to college first.
Okay.
And from college, because my college was not far from New York City, and I used to travel into the city, and I became very political. That was 59 or something. I marched in the picketed Woolworths and sat in at Woolworths and all that stuff. And college, just like everyone else. 2 years, that was it. I had to get out there into the world and get those signatures on those petitions and
activists,
stuff like that. And then I fell in love.
Oh.
So that kind of took me out of the running for a while. And we ended up in the western part of Massachusetts, in the Berkshires, where my husband, who was an architect and a guitar player, had a beautiful voice, we lived in a church. And, oh, wait a minute, there's something happened before that.
Yeah.
We worked at a school where Arlo Guthrie was a student.
Ah, I see.
And that's how I met him. He was 14. He was a gangly, kooky. I was 19 or something, you know. I wasn't much older than the kids there.
But you were the teacher.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. As a matter of fact, in order to be his teacher, I had to get married.
Oh, really?
I never
They wanted you to be Mrs.
I never
Brock.
wanted to be married, but if I was going to get a job and live on campus, I had to get married.
Because you were living.
Yeah,
with,
living in sin.
This oak table that's right behind us. I remember sitting there and playing for you, and you said something like a lot of musicians have sat around this table.
Well, they have. That's an oak table when we lived in the church, and that's where Arlo and a bunch of kids came and lived with us. I traded a pew from the church for that table. There was a guy who sold secondhand furniture around the corner, around, next third road over. And I traded him for that table, and that was our table, and we all sat around that and sang. And Arlo wrote Alice's Restaurant sitting at that table.
That's amazing.
And a lot of things I was even late at that table. But I always say if that table could talk, we'd all be in trouble.
Well, you said, I want to sing you my song, all right?
I'd love that.
And sing it for the folks out there. And say goodbye till the next time. Though I'm going to try to do these Blaincasts on a regular basis. I don't want to commit to anything, but it could even end up being a weekly thing. And thanks, George, for letting me have this guitar. Alice don't spend too much time cooking in the kitchen anymore. It's not like Alice's restaurant days so long ago.
No.
But now she lives in P-Town, an artist on the Cape, an icon of the 60s who managed to escape. Alice don't spend too much time cooking in the kitchen anymore.
But I'm still hot.
If you want, go ask Alice, and she might be willing to talk.
Try shutting me up.
You'll find her down in Provincetown, probably painting a rock, or drawing cats on beach stones and tossing them in the sand, sharing her opinion, helping when she can. Alice don't spend too much time cooking in the kitchen anymore.
No.
Well, Alice don't care much for money and all that it brings.
Obviously.
She likes a big caddy, but rejects most material things. There's been books and movies, and this ain't the first song, a fraction of the story that they got mostly wrong.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Alice don't spend too much time cooking in the kitchen anymore. What's for supper, Alice?
No. Take out.
Alice don't spend too much time cooking in the kitchen anymore. Alice don't spend too much time cooking in the kitchen.
And this is your living legend signing off.
See you next time, folks.